Hi, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing class 3, which consists of firstly some basic review and the daily skim quiz, move on to refutation practice, talk about evidence some more, and then move on to discussing and introducing flowcharts. So as I said previously, I had my students read the daily skim every week and then I would quiz them on the daily skim. So we had a quick skim quiz, took about 10 minutes when I first started the class. Next, let's go over some partner review questions. This does not have to be done with a partner. This can just be done by yourself. And just look over the questions and try to answer them. So first, what 4 things are required when citing sources for evidence? The answer is source, author, date, and article title. Question 2. What is the format of a refutation? The answer is, they said, I disagree, because, therefore. Question 3. What is the role of a second speaker? The answer is to refute, defend, and expand. Question 4. What is the role of a third speaker? The answer is to summarize the debate, provide weighing, and analyze impacts. So let's start off by talking about evidence. So we see that the internet is the easiest way to access information, but it's not always the most reliable, as there are many websites on the internet that you simply cannot trust. So there are many internet sources such as online databases, websites, there are newspapers, there's stories, there's articles, there's many different things that you can find on the internet. However, some of these websites are not trustworthy. For example, Wikipedia is not trustworthy because a lot of times people can just edit the Wikipedia pages and put whatever they want. Social media, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, any evidence directly from the social media apps is not reliable because people could just be saying whatever they want to. So there are some strategies in order to find good reliable sources of evidence and also find it effectively. So the strategy is to search for keywords and scan the page for what you want. You search for keywords in the sense that you don't paste the entire topic wording into the Google search, because if you do this, then it's just gonna come up with a bunch of things and not all of it is actually gonna be beneficial. A lot of it is gonna be really confusing and not even go by your side, because Google looks for these keywords. So for example, if the topic was the COVID-19 vaccine should be mandatory for everybody, it might be okay to search this up because it has shorter wording, but when it's like a really long phrasing topic, then it is much better to search up keywords, and it is always better to search up keywords. So for this COVID-19 example debate, the keywords could be COVID-19 vaccines are good, or COVID vaccines provide immunity, or COVID vaccine benefits. You gotta keep it short, simple, and straightforward. Next, there are 2 types of research, quantitative and qualitative. We can basically infer what quantitative or qualitative evidence means based on the words quantity and quality. Quantitative evidence is evidence that displays measures as values or counts and are expressed as numbers, hence the word quantity in quantitative. This means there's a quantity of numbers. This could be statistics, this could be 3 out of 10 people, 7 out of 10 people, 2 people in a survey of 100 people. This could be 27%. It's just these numbers that are brought up. This could be like doubled, tripled, halved, these numeric values. On the other hand, qualitative data is data that approximates or characterizes and is not numerical in value. We can see this with the word quality in qualitative. There is quality explanation and reasoning in qualitative evidence rather than basing these sources off of numbers. So qualitative evidence could be dogs are better than cats because dogs are more playful and like to hang out, therefore boosting your mental health and making you go on walks with them, therefore increasing your physical health as well. So this has no numbers provided. We don't know how many dogs are happy and playful. We don't know how much a dog can boost a person's happiness by, but we do have solid reasoning and solid explanation. So this is an example of qualitative data. So these are some examples of statements and evidence that could be either categorized as qualitative or quantitative. So try to assign them qualitative or quantitative. I'll give the answers. You may pause the video right now. Number 1, dogs are active pets that require attention and exercise. This is qualitative as it brings up no numbers and it only explains why dogs are active pets and what type of pets dogs are. Number 2, there are 50 states in America. This is quantitative evidence as it talks about 50 states, which is a number. Number 3, Tesla stocks have doubled in growth and are worth nearly double what they were worth a few months ago. This might be tricky to some people, but this is quantitative because it talks about doubling in growth and being worth nearly double what they were worth. So doubling something is quantitative. Number 4, Tesla cars are electric, requiring no fuel. So just because it says no fuel does not mean that it's implying 0 as a number. Rather, it is more explanation because it's mostly talking about how Tesla cars are electric. So that's the reason why they have no fuel required. It doesn't bring up a specific number or specific rate. So this would be qualitative. Number 5, climate change has caused many different extreme weather patterns. This would be qualitative as there's no number of how many different extreme weather patterns that climate change has caused or a numerical value to measure how extreme these weather patterns are. It is simply an explanation. So qualitative. Finally, bees have been dying at an unprecedented rate of 10% during most winters. This is probably the easiest one. This would be quantitative as 10% is a statistic that is measured in a numerical value. Next, let's talk about definitions. So definitions is basically the key terms that you will be using in your AREIs. It is something that you should always lay out at the very beginning of a debate. This means that you should define your keywords that you will be using before you move on to your AREIs. It should be the first thing you say after, "Hi, my name is." So what would be some key terms for a COVID-19 debate? Try to answer this on your own. You may pause the video and I will give the answers. So some key terms for a COVID-19 debate may be, firstly, obviously, COVID-19. It may talk about when the virus was discovered and what exactly it is. Next, we can define pandemic, we can define immunity, and we can define vaccine. It is important to have and lay out these definitions at the very beginning of a debate so that the opponents, the judges, and also you yourself personally can further understand the topic and the keywords that would be used. Because if you don't understand something and what it means, it is so helpful. It should be necessary to define it for yourself so that you can understand it even further and win the debate. So what is a flowchart? A flowchart is a chart that helps organize the arguments and refutations made in a debate. If we take a look at this flowchart, we can see that it gives all of the 6 speeches: Prop 1, Op 1, Prop 2, Op 2, Op 3, since Op 3 goes after Op 2, and lastly, Prop 3. The reason why Prop gets first say and last say is because they lay out the debate and they get first say. They have to speak first, so they also get last say just to keep it up. So it goes all the speeches in order. Each one is 5 minutes. We can see that as prop first speaker, for flowing, all you have to do is basically just put down anything important that the opponent or your partner or you yourself are planning to say or have said in the debate. This means you are writing down assuming you are on opposition, when you're flowing this debate, you're writing down the proposition's definitions, you're writing down the proposition's framework, whatever they're doing, you're writing down their arguments. But however, one important thing to keep in mind is to not write in full sentences. Why is this so? It might be easier to read in full sentences, but it is extremely to keep track of the debate efficiently when you write in full sentences and full words. It is much better to use abbreviations because the opponent only gets 5 minutes and you only get 5 minutes. This means that you should not be writing all the sentences and all the long words because it would take forever and you would miss out on a lot of crucial information that the opponent could be saying. We see the same thing applied to Op 1. You also write down the AREIs. You write some refutations if you have time to. And then Prop 2 and Op 2, you write the refutations and you write the defense, and you also talk about your expansions as well. And finally, both third speakers, Op 3 and Prop 3, talk about summarizing and then explain why you think you won the debate. This is called weighing. You can weigh on magnitude, which is quality and quantity of life, like how many people are affected and how big is the impact, how much are people being affected, like are they going to die, are they going to have a bad life, are they going to have a bad future, are they going to have bad health? These are all impacts that you can analyze. And secondly, likelihood, how likely the impacts are. So is it likely that without a COVID-19 vaccine I will die and it is completely necessary to? If you're op, you can say, no, this is unlikely, so we win on likelihood. At the end of the class, I did another AREI format since we learned a lot about evidence. I wanted my students to improve their evidence and to find good sources, whether that be qualitative or quantitative. I encouraged them to use both. And I just had them read their AREIs in the next class since we ran out of time. So thank you for watching.